welcome back to another episode of Kivonshe's Kitchen. Today's dinner is going to be shredded chicken tacos. I already got everything prepped and ready to go so that we could just get through this video. Our drink of choice is going to be a Chardonnay, and this is Sazón. Let me look at the brand real quick. So Castillo San Simon. We're gonna go white with our dinner today. So we're gonna do a little bit of a white wine. And today's topic, because obviously this is not a how-to cooking channel, although everything that I do and any like seasonings and stuff that I use is gonna be in the description box below. Quick warning, okay? There are only 3 times where I will actually measure out any ingredients, okay? The first one is gonna be whenever I'm baking macaroni and cheese, because it can be like milky and it cannot be dry. I will also measure out my water in a measuring cup whenever I'm making rice, because I don't want it to be soupy and you don't want the water to cook down and then your rice still be crunchy as hell. And then lastly, the only time I use any type of measurements is when I'm baking any type of dessert or anything like that. Other than that, everything I do is based off my sense of smell and my ancestors and my connection to them, okay? Anything that you use, any recipes and stuff from when I'm cooking, at least, you know, go with God or whoever you want to go with. So moving into today's episode, you already know that I like to talk about certain things, and today's topic is going to be goal taking. But before we get into today's topic, I do want to get started on cooking. So I already prepped and oiled my chicken and everything, and I already have my seasonings like pre-blended. Let me go ahead and move the camera in my working area. All right, so here we have our chicken, and I already have my pre-mixed seasoning. So I'm just gonna go ahead and show on there. So the basis is going to be Old Bay seasoning, and then we have coarse ground black pepper. We have some garlic powder, some onion powder, and then I used half a pack of Sazón Goya seasoning. Right now I got the Taco Bell seasoning just kind of set off to the side. I like to season my meat before I go and make tacos, because I don't like the tacos just, I don't know, tasting like just regular taco meat, you know? I like to add a little bit of pizzazz to that, but because I do that, I'm not gonna use that whole pack of taco seasoning, because these gonna be some salty ass chicken tacos. But anyways, goal taking, right? So what do I mean by goal taking? So I've been like talking to friends and everything like that, right? And you know, we're talking about 2022. I'm just talking about wanting to be successful and stuff, right? So I was having a conversation with one of my girlfriends, and I know I sound like an old lady, but I was having a conversation with one of my girlfriends, and I was just like, okay, what's 3 goals you want? And like right out the gate, she was just like, oh, you know, I want to do this, this, and this, so long as nothing gets in the way. And that's kind of what made me like think about goal taking versus goal making. So lately, a lot of people, you know, we plan goals out. We say we want to do this, we want to do this, we want to do this. That is great, right? But we don't do the necessary steps in between those goals. So we'll make a goal, but we won't take those steps, those building blocks that will ultimately lead to the success of what we want. So, for example, I'll be real, one of my goals is I want to land either a voice acting gig this year or a actual role, whether it's an extra, a speaking role. I just show up on camera. I don't really care, but that's a goal of mine. So I took my iPad and I put that down as my goal. Underneath that goal is a subset of things that I must do, steps that I actually have to put action into to take in order to achieve that goal. So one of them for voice acting is to create voice reel demos and record, like do pre-screen recording. That way, whenever I audition and I do a portfolio, the people I'm trying to audition for already kind of have an idea of what I sound like. Maybe if I do different accent, different voices and stuff like that, right? Because at this point, it doesn't matter if I get turned down, right? The point is for me to take those necessary steps to put myself out there. Same thing for actual acting gigs. I have to learn monologues. I have to record myself. I have to practice, and I have to do this over and over and over and over and over. It's not enough to think that, you know, I'm gonna get discovered in a mall some damn where the way that it was done back in the 70s, 80s, 90s. We're in a pandemic, ain't nobody out there like that, and almost everything is virtual, to include casting calls and auditions. So for me, I feel like it's a lot more convenient with everything being via Zoom, because I don't, you know, everybody doesn't have the funds to be flying out to Atlanta, to Vegas, to New York, wasting, or not even wasting, but spending their last dime to potentially get told no. Whereas you can do a lot of stuff in the comfort of your home. You can practice, you can pre-record yourself over and over and over until you feel like you have a product that is good enough to at least get the conversation started. I had to update my, I don't even know why I'm playing. I had to update headshots, all of that, right? Just to get to a goal. So one of the first things, right? You know, create voice reels and demos. Boom. Create a monologue. I looked up on Google like some free monologues that I could rehearse, and they're about 2 minutes or less. I thought about just looking at movies that I like and just being able to do that. But that's something on there that I haven't done yet. It's been, I won't say easier to do the voice, but I don't like my voice at all. I feel like I've gotten to the point where I am comfortable enough to physically get in front of a camera. So that part doesn't really scare me as much, but I don't like my voice. And as much as I play around with my friends and I do different voices and accents and all this other stuff, it's super daunting to like do it and submit it, because all I'm thinking is, what if they think I don't sound good? And then the moment I get into that self-sabotage mode, I'm like, you know what, send. And it's in whoever's hands, because that's not on my goal list. My goal isn't to cast people, because that's not my job. My goal is to submit for auditions. And I feel like a lot of times we get caught up in somebody else's job, right? We get caught up in somebody else's job. It's the casting director's goal to cast however many people, breakout artists, and all those things. But it's not my job to worry about that. I can only control what I can control. And I feel like that's what gets us caught up in self-doubt and everything like that. All right, I'm gonna take this chicken and we're gonna go ahead and put it in this Instant Pot. I had started heating it up earlier, but this thing heats up really fast, so I had to turn that off before it was a catastrophe on camera. Put another glove on. Anyways, yeah, we get caught up and worried about the big picture that we forget to set those small goals in between. And honestly, it's not even so much as, okay, so you created like a big goal, boom, get cast for voice acting. Let's stick to one thing. Get cast for voice acting. Okay, create voice reels and demos. Boom. Submit the applications. That means researching and actually looking for casting calls and auditions, right? So it's not even enough to say, oh, let me submit some work. I have to do more work just to figure out what's out there and figure out what's submitted. Then, okay, if they email me back and they need more stuff, okay, respond to the emails in a timely manner. Create a cover letter. What else? Practice, accents, practice, pitch, tone, depth, cadence, all of that, right? Because I love anime. I love accents. So I have to like record myself over and over and over and over and over. Maybe, you know, I want to get casted as like a young boy in anime, or maybe I want to get casted as some like 10-year-old with superpowers or something like that. So I have to be able to practice doing that. So what do I do if I don't know how to do it? A vocal coach. I actually have an interview next Tuesday with a vocal coach. It's not even so much as singing and stuff like that, because I have a passion for singing, but I don't want to be a singer, right? If I got casted for something voice acting and my role required singing, I definitely want to be able to have the skills to do that. But breath control, like being able to breathe at a certain point without sounding exhausted or tired or anything like that takes practice. My current job allowed me to get a lot of diaphragmatic exercises to be able to do it and sustain it for a good amount of time. But I'm not an expert, and I want to be able to hone that skill. So all of this stuff to going into just me wanting to get cast in one role, right? I have to now do like 8 other things, right? Once I do all of that and I'm getting into a routine, right? I got a nice little business email. I'm getting into a routine of just doing this stuff, staying on top, staying on top, staying on top. Then once I'm like cast, boom, that goal is checked off. Now, one, my goals are here. They're tangible, right? They're in front of me. And let's talk about tangible goals. Let me check on this oil though. All right, it's ready. So talking about tangible goals, for me, I am such a visual and a tactile learner. It is insane. So what I used to do is I'll be like, oh, I want to do this. I want to act. I want to start my own organization where I'm showcasing Black artistry in entertainment, fashion, all of that stuff. I want to do all these things. Boom. And then it just sits there. I go to the store and I buy a notebook and it's like goals. And I'm like, yes, let me write down all my goals. And then I write it down for a day. I set it down, it's pretty. Then all of a sudden it becomes desktop decor. Then I go to like Dollar General or something and it's like dream big. And I'm like, oh yes, everything I want to do, yes. Next thing you know, I'm collecting like all these pretty little notebooks and I don't use them, and I collect them over a course of some years. So I have an iPad now and I got an app and I wrote down like my goals. Like my iPad is literally sitting right there at the front door with my little Apple Pen, because I need to see it. One, I need to reel in all of my ideas into one central location. If I cannot see my goals and if I cannot see the little stuff that I chipped away at, then I'm gonna feel like I'm not accomplishing anything. And it's also a physical manifestation of where my mind is. Like I'm mentally all over the place, and it's reflected in my journaling. It's reflected in my vision board or vision notebooks. So I literally just spent the last month just like reeling everything in, reeling in my mind, honing in the stuff that I want to do. And at first I thought, let me just do this one thing and then this one thing and this one thing. But I have a lot of talents that are interchangeable. I can use my photography to take pictures of this other thing that I want to do. And then I can plug my photography page with that. So that way, if somebody doesn't necessarily like the genre of something that I'm doing on this one page, but they like how I took the picture, I can still get booked in a photography manner versus whatever page that they saw something on. So think about the stuff that you have that works as one. I like talking. I like cooking. I cook for myself. So I said, let me start filming myself cook, because I just want to bring people into my kitchen, and I just want to bring people into these conversations, and I want to bring people into these thoughts. And so I'm like, screw it. I'm going to just I'm gonna just do it. And so here we are now. So I had to jump in, I had to make a decision, and I just had to do it. But there's always this little thing, right? This little voice in your head, right? Your own mirror, bitch. And it's called self-sabotage, right? So let's dive into self-sabotage. I'm gonna use a real life example for how self-sabotage almost cost me just 2 days ago. I've been watching HGTV for forever. Ever since I was 13 years old, I've done a lot of home remodeling at the house with my parents. I'm talking from in-ground sprinklers, building a fence from scratch, building 2 decks from scratch, building a shed, doing lawn work, like landscaping, all types of stuff. Cutting a bed, like cutting a day bed and then making it smaller and putting it back. I mean, all types of shit. Painting, everything like that, right? And so for the past 3 years, I've just been doing that on my own, but I haven't really been showcasing it or anything. It's smelling good, y'all. But I haven't showcased it. I don't know, because I was just add a little more oil. Y'all, because it ain't underneath my sink, but it's still gonna be here because some things don't change. I only cook with olive oil. Only time you ever gonna see me using vegetable oil is if I fry chicken, and I really only fry chicken like twice a year. Oh, wagon. Where was I at? Cause I'm dumb. Well, I'm getting a little weight on me. Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I want to do this. Boom, taking it serious. So one of my friends was like, I've really been struggling with my bathroom. It's chaotic. It's all over the place. You know, if I give you $100, can you just go shop, get everything together, do it, boom, 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 boom. Only thing is I want to keep my rugs because I just bought them. Cool. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna hook you up, boom, 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 right? The night before I was supposed to go, I was like, I'm so tired. I haven't had a break. I just feel like I've just been going nonstop for the last week. And she was like, when you go back to work? I was like, in 4 days. And mind you, I had already been off of work for 7. So she's like, you're not doing anything. You haven't been doing anything. How are you tired? I'm like, oh my God, just mentally, I need a break. All while I'm like watching Netflix. And she was like, I'm going to the bank. I'm getting some money. And you're doing my stuff tomorrow. And I was like, shout out to friends for holding you accountable, because she forced me to see and pay attention to what I was doing to myself without me even realizing I'm fucking myself over. I just talked all this crap as I'm watching somebody else on TV live the life that I know I can live. Not to a T, but they're doing a profession that I know I can be good at. 1. 2, who is seeing on HGTV that look like me? So that's really why I started talking crap, because I'm like, it's not, I don't dig on anybody on there. I love that network. I love these shows. But I'm like, I would just love to see Black people doing the same thing. It's kind of like the same shows over and over and over. So I just want to see Black people doing it as well. Not cutting no prices or anything. I just want to see us. So the next day I woke up, I was on a mission, and I did it. I filmed it, and I started my channel, created my business literally instantly off of that. And so from her pushing me came Creations by Kivonshe. And it's a home organizing and design company. Right now, I'm doing rooms because I feel like the best way to declutter and organize and do stuff like that is room by room. Coincidentally, there are shows like on HGTV and on Netflix where people come in and they just redo a room, whether it's just declutter and organize, declutter, organize, and design, bringing in contractors depending on, you know, what the customer wants and how they're able to maneuver, whether it's in the apartment or whether it's in the house. I do that all the time. So Creations by Kivonshe, that name is on Instagram. I have a Facebook page under the same name. My Gmail, creationsbykivonshe@gmail.com. And so going back to making your talents work with each other, all of the photos on my Instagram page I took, and that's under the umbrella of Kivonshe Photography. My Kivonshe Photography page is inactive. Like, you can go to it, but I'm not active on it. But I'm tagging my photography skill in my work into something else. And that could potentially open up doors for other people wanting me to take pictures of their homes. Like, what you call them things? Open houses and other interior design companies wanting me to take pictures of their work. Hotels, stuff like that. Like, all because even if they're not really vibing with my page and they don't need my organization, decluttering, and design skill, if they need my photography skill, I'm still getting booked off of me and my own talent. All of that to say, just freaking do it. Like, I think the only way to really be able to make your goals real and to take your goals, because again, we're talking about goal taking. I'm writing it down and I'm taking it for me. It is mine and I'm claiming it. No more manifestation. Like, no more just putting visions and shit out into the universe and stuff like that, because I can sit up here right now. I want $1 million. I want $1 million. Manifest it. I want $1 million. I envision myself in like a house that I built from the ground up, and the budget is 1.2 million, and I don't even flinch. I got bags. Come on, manifestation, manifestation, manifestation. And then I sit and watch home makeover with people who got a $450,000 renovation budget, and I'm over here looking at my bank account sad as shit. Like, you can manifest, but manifestation without work gets you nowhere. So take your goals, yo. Like, take it. That's all I can say is just take it. And I wouldn't tell y'all anything that I haven't personally struggled with myself. It is a struggle. It's been a struggle for 9 years, actually. Yo, look at this chicken. On my, and then we can move to the stove. Anyways, so this has been a struggle for 9 years. So back in 2012, when I was bold enough, I don't even know where it came from, but I'm glad that I have it in me. So in 2011, I discovered Miss Adventures of Awkward Black Girl, and it started in 2011. So boom, there from the beginning. And if you know the show and you're familiar with the show, there was a character called A, and it was played by Andrew Allen. He's a dancer and actor, a friend of Issa Rae's. I loved his character so much. So like, I'm not just into film and television. I be like researching everything. I'm looking at cinematography. I'm looking at takes. I'm looking at everything in there, right? And I love what he did with the character, knowing that this is a performer. And he is performing this character, this awkward, like Steve Urkel-esque character to a T, and it cracked me up. So at that time, that seed of elevating and showcasing Black talent was born into a website that I had created. And I was in Korea at the time. So I'm like finding poets, I'm finding singers, I'm finding rappers, and I'm going to these locations in Korea. I'm 22 years old. I am going to these locations in Korea, and I'm just selling them my idea. I'm selling them my belief. And they're allowing me to use their space and do all this other stuff. And I'm also doing it on the internet. That year, in just like a 6-month span, I created I hosted like 3 fundraising events that were packed. I got to do an interview with 3 people. So Andrew Allen, I got to interview Vanessa Williams' daughter from Lion Babe, and I also got to do an online interview with Marlon Williams Jr. Like, I just had a dollar in a dream, like J. Cole said. So I was working with just my passion. Like, I was just fired up about this, and it was amazing. And then I stopped because I got to a point where I was like, can I still do this? Can I sustain this? And I was so terrified. And then I just said, you know what? Let me just be great at the Air Force, and then, you know, we'll revisit it later on. And I put my Air Force professional life ahead of my personal life, and something that I could create that will sustain me and sustain my community beyond the Air Force. The Air Force is going to be done in a few years. But at that time, I was only in for like 4 years, so I couldn't even think that far. And so now I'm like, this has been 9 years in the making, and I am tapping into that young adult that I was back then to like shake some shit up and make some stuff happen, because I'm still like in awe that I was that courageous. I can't even say brave, because to me, bravery is without fear. I was scared as hell, but I was courageous enough to move and take what I wanted. Yeah, so back on to self-sabotage. Do I think it's ever going to go away? Absolutely not. Every time you hit a new milestone, or you're getting ready to step into the next level of your purpose, it's going to be scary. Like, even today, right? It was so gloomy outside, and I was up all night thinking about just even how I was going to do this video. What did I want to say? What did I want to talk about? Other stuff, things I'm posting on Creations by Kivonshe, all type of stuff. And I was like, dang, I don't know if I'll be able to record tonight. I knew I was going to cook, but I wasn't sure if I would be able to record because of just the lighting. And I don't really like apartment lighting like that. Everything is so yellow. But I will say it wasn't self-sabotage. My doubts turned into critical questions, right? So I'm just like, what is the best way for me to get content out there for you guys? And I made sure that, one, I wasn't gonna just hold off cooking, because I will. But then, as I'm thinking, how am I gonna be able to do this? Should I do this? I said, okay, let me go home and just set it up and see. Versus making all the excuses, not doing it, and then tomorrow comes and it's the same situation. The weather is still gonna be crappy. I'm not gonna get all this lighting, and now I'm just not doing it, and I'm never doing it. So I'm not gonna say that it's going to go away, but I will say that once it come up, evaluate everything that is doubtful, and then if it's something that you can test or do like a trial run, see if that's what it is, right? So I call it the mirror bitch moment. So Insecure season finale, I'm gonna reference this show the same way I referenced the Golden Girls. I know y'all probably looking at, girl, hurry up and shred that chicken, but I cannot like think and do this at the same time. Lawrence calls and she's thinking about answering, and mirror bitch goes, don't answer it, you dumb bitch. And Issa D goes, why? She's like, because it's never gonna work. And then it goes to voicemail, and then Issa D looks at herself in the mirror and says, how do you know that it's not gonna work? And mirror bitch was stunned. All of that to say, ask yourself, when you telling yourself it ain't gonna work, the lighting ain't gonna be right, the sound quality isn't gonna be right, it's not perfect, and do all this other stuff, tell yourself, how do you know that? And then challenge it, because the only way to really get past self-doubt is to do what I say, and what I like to call it jumping off the cliff like Pocahontas. She just ran and flew with the colors of the wind, girl. And sometimes when you know you have the skill, right? There's no There's no doubt about your skill. There's no doubt about your charisma. There's no doubt about your vision. There's no doubt about having any supporters. You then have to self-validate. You have to self-validate because you can have all the validation in the world, everybody behind you, do it, you can do this, go girl, bro, I know you got this. But if you do not validate yourself, you will get nowhere. And then you will end up just unhappy. It just at the end of the day, it just won't matter anymore because you are the most important person in your life. You are the key. You are the biggest key to your own success. You make the decisions. You pick and choose what jobs you want to take. You pick and choose how you want your image to be. You do that. Nobody can do that without your permission. So at the end of the day, when you get everybody behind you and everybody's there, you know, they're looking at you and they're just waiting because they will follow you wherever you go. They're just waiting for you to take that leap. This ain't got nothing to do with nothing, y'all. Look at my face. Bro. Anyway, yeah, 2 of these bigger chicken breasts, I'm going to shred whenever I get low on this other one. Just trying to say some stuff. But anyway, understand that accountability is just a must. Accountability is a must. You have to hold yourself accountable to your own dreams. Otherwise, I'm gonna just be real. People are gonna stop taking you seriously. They're gonna stop listening to you. And then you're gonna be all up in your feelings like, oh, you don't believe in me. You don't do all of this stuff. Like, bro, you've been saying for the last, nigga, you was just Lawrence on the couch for the past 4 years talking about some app that you want to create and you didn't do anything. Like, don't be that person. Not necessarily saying that, oh, boom, right away, you gotta go and invent it, but like, damn, you know, you want to be a graphic designer, start designing for some local companies or some internet businesses and stuff like that. Like, just do something, knock off those building blocks. So that now when you start making timelines on your goals, you want to do X, Y, and Z in 2 years. In 3 years, you want to be certain. Well, now you can do those things because you already know the work that it requires to do. Just do the work, though. Like, and I'm not saying that your life needs to be consumed by everything, but so I was just watching Hot Ones, with my parents, and somebody was like asking Tyra Banks about songs that she was mentioning, and there was a song, somebody mentioned her in a song, and she was like, I'm in their song? Like, she was so confused. That's how busy I want to be. I want to be so busy that I don't know what is going on because I'm busy trying to put my footprint on this God-forsaken world. And I'm not gonna say that, you know, consume yourself with everything that's work related and not have a life, because we all love a little bit of mess, a little bit of drama. But all I'm saying is, if you gonna spend 4 hours scrolling through TikTok, and then when it comes time to do something for yourself, don't be over there talking about, oh, I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I got a long day tomorrow. I just had a long day today. Like, no, you didn't. You sat on your ass scrolling through TikTok. If you gonna sit up there and be all up in the shade room watching Akbar and Alexis Sky go back and forth, then you gotta be going back and forth with your goal planning and the stuff that you need to do to get up off of your stuff, so that maybe you one day is being talked about on the shade room. Maybe not negatively, but you know, all I'm saying is, stop giving all y'all's time to people who don't know that you exist. Stop giving your time in situations that don't make you money. And then more importantly, stop being in awe of the people that are in the places that you know you can be, and places that you want to be and that you deserve to be. And start banging on their doors so that you're standing next to them when it happens. because, I don't know, I said in another video, I don't remember what video it was, but when I'm winning, I want everybody to win. Like, everything I'm saying, I don't know, it may be the keys to success. It may not be. But I know that I struggle with it, and once I get over a hurdle, I'm reaching back and I'm helping people get over that same hurdle. If I learn the cheat codes, I'm giving you the cheat codes. Like, if I had to struggle to get to it, I'm gonna make sure that the next person don't struggle to get to it, because I don't believe in that. I don't believe that you have to struggle to make it, because one, as a black person, that's not everybody's story as a black person. Like, it's just a false narrative. You don't have to come from nothing to have something. And it don't matter if you started off with, you know, a little bit of something. We all know that it takes a lot to break barriers with our skin color in the first place. So what I'm not gonna do is contribute to that narrative that says that I made it, but I made it on my own 2 feet and nobody helped me. Fuck that. People do help me. The people who give me support, the people that push me, the people that hold me accountable, that's help. So what I'm not gonna do is pretend that I didn't have help, and what I'm not gonna do is not help others. We just not doing it. All right, well, it's almost that time for me to eat. I'm about to fry me up some tortilla shells because that's how I like to eat it. But I need to grow up. But yeah, goal taking all the rest of your days. Forget it all 2022. Goal taking for the rest of your days. Put that action behind them words. Make them dreams and them visions something that you can actually touch, see, and take for yourself. And don't forget to thank those who helped you, even if it was minor. Maybe they just bought you some film for your camera. Thank those who helped you along the way, because you literally cannot do it by yourself. And don't forget to help others along the way as well. Their struggle is your struggle, and your success is in theirs. With that, I'm gonna see y'all on the next episode, and I hope that y'all have a fabulous rest of your day.